And we're live. In 3.
5. Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Pros and Cons. I'm Derek.
I'm Scarlett.
And today we are going to be...
So sorry.
Oh. Asher, say your name.
Yeah, he was like...
What the heck? Yeah. As we know, in Pros and Cons, we are going to be reviewing a mystery book. We will start out with a spoiler-free section where we just kind of give a pitch for the book. Then we will move into heavy spoilers, and we will be rating each category that we have laid out. And we'll be ranking those out of 10, and then at the very end, we'll give our final score.
Mm-hmm.
So what book are we reviewing today?
Today's book is Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, get it going. So this book was, shocker, his recommendation. I definitely have not been a sci-fi fantasy reader, but he loves sci-fi fantasy books and recommended this book for me to read. And actually, I liked it.
Let's go!
I did.
The pitch.
The spoiler-free section?
Yeah, this is spoiler-free. Spoiler-free, we'll let you know once we go into spoilers.
Yeah, basically this book follows Darrow, the main character who is a red, and the society in this book is built by colors, red on the bottom, gold on the top. And yeah, our protagonist is a red, and he is put into this society and is kind of figuring his way out. He's infiltrating into the belly of the beast. And it says on the back, he disguises himself as a gold to kind of get in there. See what's
super spoiler free. No, giving no context. He's just like doing stuff. Like the main character mostly does stuff.
He does a lot.
And then
he
does other things.
More stuff too.
So read it.
Yeah, wow. It sounds really good.
The world is kind of built in. It takes place on Mars. The Reds are mining. They mine this mineral for the entire society. A bunch of things happen to Darrow that are pretty traumatic, and that sets him on course to want to destroy the golds from within.
Yeah.
So he's recruited into the academy to work his way up, to perform well so that he can get into the golds and, take them down from within. The belly of the beast.
Yeah. It's a classic kind of political rebellion. So it's kind of commenting on society and the politics of the real world in this fantasy made-up world.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's done in a tasteful way, in a clever way.
Yeah, I don't know if any that do this kind of color scheme or a lot of the political intrigue of this. I think it's light on all of that, though.
Yeah, it's not like annoying.
No. It's a digestible story, and that's kind of just a note throughout it.
Yeah.
Who's it for?
I think, well, obviously, fans of sci-fi and fantasy books.
Yeah.
I think also, it's a classic, adventure story and a rebellion. And so anyone who likes a little bit of, rough and ready, I'm gonna, that.
Okay.
I'm gonna mess things up.
I'm gonna get them.
Yeah, it's one of those. But it's good. And it's definitely action-packed. Something's always going on. There's an adventure. There's a fight. There's a battle, a journey. It's definitely a boy book, I would say.
I don't know, because I think I would definitely put this in the realm of a little bit more adult version of Hunger Games, Maze Runner, that era of books, Divergent. But just a little bit more adult things happen.
Sure.
But it's like a step up from that. I wouldn't say it's full adult, it's not like fantasy. It's not like a Brandon Sanderson or hardcore, any of that. It's just maybe an in-between. Yeah.
Yeah, and enjoyable. I enjoyed it. It just definitely has that kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
So who it wouldn't be for?
Who wouldn't be for would probably be the girlies. They might not like it. I don't know. Maybe. People who don't like the kind of action battle world, fighting vibe. That's the whole book. But yeah, or people who are more wanting to know the emotional side of the characters and kind of get deep into the characters. I mean, it does go into the characters.
A little side note, I've read the first 3 books in this series. So it starts out with a trilogy, and then there's a tetralogy finishing it. The last book is not yet to be released, but I've only read the first trilogy, so I have a little bit of bias because of that. So you say it doesn't dive into the characters a lot. It definitely does get a lot better with each book, I'd say. I love the second and third book. This one is the weakest out of the three, I would say. But I do think it does a good job at setting up the world and bringing in diverse audience.
Cool. All right, we are moving into the spoiler section. Spoilers.
Click off now if you do not want to be spoiled.
Spoilers.
If you've already read this book, now we're going into it.
We're spoiling the book.
We are spoiling the heck out of this book.
Yes. Let's begin.
Let's do it.
First category is presentation. The presentation of this book.
Yeah, what do we think?
It's fine.
Next section. I wouldn't look at that and want to pick it up. No. I gave it a 4 because I like the color red.
Yeah, I gave it a 3. Yeah. I don't love the color red.
Not a great cover. I'm hoping
it's fine.
I'm hoping once all of them are released, they'll do a rebranding.
Yeah.
But yeah, this cover, whatever. Red Wing, whatever. Red Wings fans might like it.
What's that?
The Detroit Red Wings hockey. It's a hockey joke for you hockey pucks.
That felt derogatory.
It did. Moving on.
Next.
Characters. Tell me about what you thought about the characters in Red Rising.
I liked the characters in this book. I think that Darrow, his motive is valid. Like what he went through in the beginning of the book and his story with his family, it made a lot of sense and it kind of fueled the rest of his journey. So I think that was well put together. Yeah. Something I will say about the characters is there are so many characters.
There are a lot of characters.
It starts to get confusing. Yeah. And I know I can tell by the way that Pierce Brown wrote it, he's really trying to help you and be like, oh, the girl who I saw doing this, I remember, like to give you a hand. Mm-hmm. But I kind of started to get confused because the names were similar with some of them and they were just like 30 characters or something crazy. I don't know.
I do think that is a common trend in fantasy, at least. There are a lot of characters. Usually there's like a glossary in the back of all the characters. There is, at least with The Will of the Many. I don't know if there is in this one. But that tends to be a common thing. There are a lot of characters.
A little too much going on.
You kind of need to figure out who the main characters are and just kind of focus on them.
Yeah, that being said, the main characters who they repeatedly are coming back to, I did like their vibe. They had more depth to them. I think that the layers to the characters were well suited to their interactions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just think there were a lot of characters. Yeah. But I like them. So my rating was a 6.
6. That's a good rating. I agree with quite a few of the things you said. I think a lot of their motives are valid. I think the changing in dynamics between characters of, oh, we're friends, oh, wait, you killed my brother, we're enemies, spoilers. So I think a lot of motivations make sense. I don't think anything feels forced. I think Mustang and Darrow make sense. I think the inclusion of Severo with Cassius and Darrow makes sense. I think a lot of the things just make sense between the characters. Yeah. I think it's hard to make the main character the likable character. I don't know, because they need to progress the plot so much.
I don't know.
I don't think there's like a lot to I think Severo is
Godlin.
Such a good character.
He is.
And like Cassius is a complex character. You never know which way he's going. Mm-hmm. Darrow and Mustang, I think, are like a tier below that. They make sense, but they're not as like, when I see Severo on the page, I'm like, I want to read about it. Because he's such a, you can feel when he's in a scene. Whereas like Darrow's, I guess, in every scene. So it's kind of like, okay.
I don't know. I like about Darrow that he is bringing Io with him through all of these. I like that she is at the forefront of the book. Yeah. Even though she dies right at the beginning, pretty much.
That'd be spoiler.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I like that he continues to bring her along because I think that really fuels his character.
Definitely.
And I really like that he isn't a perfect main character. Yeah. I like that he is continually fueled by this rage and it doesn't feel like the author's trying to create this protagonist. It's just kind of like, yeah, that's Darrow. Like, he's got a temper tantrum. He's got anger issues he's got to work on.
Yeah, and I think there is development. You can see when he first joins House Mars and he's trying to be a leader. it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And then when he's defeated by Cassius,
and he learns.
He needs to come back later. He's no longer enslaving people. He's saying, "Be a freedom fighter with me."
Right. You can see his growth.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you did something bad. You get punished, but also that hurts the rest of us." I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
So characters for me, I really like them. Seven. But I think even with later books, it does get higher.
Nice.
Love the characters.
Let's move on.
Move on.
Okay.
Move on. Okay. Go
World.
Ahead.
World.
Tell me about the world in this one.
This world is cool. It's space. Love space. Love a celestial book, but it doesn't really feel like space, to be honest with you.
I feel like this book could take place anywhere.
Yeah, it could. I think they started with space, and then they kind of dwindled into this battleground, and the whole book was on the battleground. And I'm like, okay, I would have liked a little more.
Yeah. I mean,
stuff.
Again, like, it's a whole series. It
Yeah,
does
yeah,
get
yeah.
in more into it. It does feel like this one is out of place from the rest. It feels like this is a completely different direction. The rest of the books go in a more space opera theme. This one feels like The Hunger Games.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, I do like the world. I think space is cool. It's not my favorite, so I don't think it's anything special.
Okay.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I actually also gave it a 7.
Perfect. Nice. All right. Moving on. The plot. What did you think about the plot of Red Rising?
I really liked the plot. I thought I knew how the book would end. I thought it would just be, they're doing all these little battles with their little tribes in this game. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, we haven't talked about Cassius in a minute. We're supposed to forget about him. And then in the end, there's going to be this big battle between Darrow and the Jackal, and Darrow's losing. And then Cassius comes in and saves his friend. So I was like, oh my God, of course, this is going to be the book.
I asked her, as she was getting near the end, I was like, how do you think it's going to end?
Yeah, and I'm like,
And
here
cliche,
it is.
sure.
Yeah, but it did not end that way. So I liked that it took me in a direction that I didn't foresee. Like going up to Olympus, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
Right?
Yeah,
I
so
like
it
that it
felt
broke the mold. Yeah.
like breaking the rules, which is exactly what it was. So I thought it felt really real. And I like how he kind of meta did that. Like it broke the rules of what I expected for the book while they were breaking the rules of the game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was really fascinating. I'm sure it goes into it in the next books, but I was surprised at the last interaction between Darrow and Cassius. I thought that there would be a reconciliation, but he was just like, you
Boy.
he was not happy, and I thought he would be, so
Wait, do you want to give your score for plot?
yeah, I will give my score for plot.
I do declare my
I
score.
will give my score for plot. I gave the plot a 6, only because I think that is a good score, but I didn't give it even higher because I thought that there would be more to this book than just this game, this battlefield, the battlefields. I thought there would be more, but it was just the whole book was this battlefield, which, I mean, it was good, but I was like, oh, I want to like go into the Institute and do all this other stuff, which I'm sure it does. But so standalone, I was like, okay, it was just this battle, but I liked it, so 6.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said about the plot. I like that it makes you think you're going in one direction that's more of a cliche, and then says, nope, I literally led you down that path, held your hand, and then I hard right turned. So I love that aspect. What keeps it from being great for me is that it is that common Hunger Games world and capturing the houses. It's like, okay, yeah, I know kind of what's going to happen. It's going to capture each one, get to the ending. I like that it was different, but still, I think it told what it needed to for subsequent books, but I didn't love that it had to take place in this Hunger Games style. That being said, I did really enjoy it. I love the book. I love what it does. I love where it goes. So I gave this one a 7. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Prose. How was this book written? What did you think?
I thought it was good. I think it's easy to digest. It's a quicker read. It was just kind of,
Fun.
oh yeah, I'm reading this story.
Agree. Nothing incredible, nothing bad. I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I think there is skill in getting you to like characters and make characters feel distinct. So I think that ties into the prose. So I like that. I gave it a 6.
Done.
Now, wild card. So for sci-fi and specifically Red Rising, we decided to do the wild card as the technology in this book. How do we like the creativity of the technology and the uses of that technology.
Right. So we're talking about these grav boots. We're talking about the sling blade. What else did they have in there? They had that razor.
Yeah, all the types of different weapons.
Yeah, a lot of weapons. And I'm just going to jump in because I gave the tech in this book a 3 because I didn't really get it. He kept mentioning throughout the whole book, like, oh, you know, this other character has a razor, like, they're gonna kill me with this. And I'm like, what? I couldn't picture it. I don't know what it was. And then the sling blade, like, I get he has this shape, and I like the theme of, like, having...
The Reaper.
Yeah, the Reaper and his, you know, symbol.
Yeah.
It felt a little convenient, like the grav boots, like, all right, now we can all fly. And I'm like, all right, you know. I
thought it was fine, but I agree. I don't like when they just say the name of something and don't explain it. That's typically done also in sci-fi and fantasy, but it just didn't feel right in this one.
Or like the armor that's like zzz, just like on your body, and it would be like, oh, if I touch this part of him, it'll like kill him, but this part, I'm like, okay, well, how do you know?
Yeah.
It felt a little like convenient.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't the best aspect of the book. What'd you give it? You gave it a 3? You said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I gave it a 5. I thought it was very middle of the road.
Okay.
I mean, I liked the stuff, but yeah.
Nice.
Final scores.
Final review.
What is your final score for Red Rising?
My final score for Red Rising is a 5 out of 10.
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road. But again, that feels a little low, but it's like, I think we're saving room. We're saving room for really, really incredible books and really, really horrible books. Like, 5 is a good book.
Yeah.
I liked this book. I really liked it. 5.
Good read. Mine came out to be a 6. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I think it's a little bit better than the average book out there. I don't think it's doing anything crazy. I think it's a good setup for a fantastic series.
All right. And this was Pros and Cons. Thank you very much. That's it. Red Rising, Pierce.
Thanks, Pierce.
Way to go, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, bye, Pierce. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you next time.